Now, don't misunderstand me. Anytime elite talent leaves your wrestling team, that's rarely a good thing, right? But I think the departure of Gabe Arnold for Iowa could be something where there is a real silver lining. Because there was temptation. Now, how strongly it was being considered, I'm not certain of. But there was temptation to make some pretty severe adjustments to the Iowa lineup to squeeze in Gabe Arnold, to get him on into the lineup, right? And now with Gabe Arnold, it's been announced he was, whether he was dismissed or chose to leave, not really material to the conversation. Gabe Arnold is no longer an Iowa Hawkeye, is what matters for this video. And so what was being considered to fit Gabe in potentially was dropping Michael Caliendo down from 165 to 157, Kennedy down from 174 to 165 to get Gabe in at 174 because at 84 it's going to be Angelo Ferrari's weight, right? And so how strongly it was considered dropping down Caliendo, I don't know, but I said this is a big risk. Caliendo is, in many ways, your best wrestler, right? He's been the most consistent guy you've had. He wrestles really well at 165. Dropping him down to 157, that's a risk. Leaving a weight class where you've had a lot of success is always a risk, especially when you're going down. Because are you going to have that same energy? Are you going to have the same pop? Are you going to have the same strength? Now with Gabe Arnold gone, I think it's a pretty clear picture of what the Iowa lineup is going to be next year. Of course, there's always potential changes. There's always, the chance for injury or a talent emerges. But right now on paper, it seems pretty clear. And we'll start at 125. Dean Peterson transfers from Rutgers to Iowa. He's the best guy they've got right now. Of course, they have Joey Cruz, who was a national qualifier last year. They've got incoming freshman Leo DeLuca. But Leo can redshirt now. And there's not that pressure to throw Leo out there. Not that Tom Brands would do that. Tom Brands does not wrestle guys unless they're absolutely ready. But now there's not even the temptation. Leo can come in, develop, and get better and be ready to start next year for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Dean Peterson is someone with a lot of elite wins. Finding that consistency, that has eluded him. Well, you go to Iowa, the lightweight development there is fantastic. And I think you're going to see that level of consistency found for Dean Peterson. 133 seems pretty certain it's Drake Ayala. He's a national finalist, multiple All-American for the Hawkeyes. Of course, they do have the transfer of Nasir Bailey, who was at 133, but now it would seem like Nasir would transition up to 141. Also, Nasir could redshirt. Either way, I don't think we see Nasir at 133 unless something very unfortunate were to happen to Drake Ayala and he was unable to wrestle. So look for Nasir to be either up at 141 or redshirting this year. I think 141 because if you look at the weight, if you look at what Iowa does and doesn't have, they need help at 141, and Nasir Bailey could be that help. Is he big enough? We'll find out. But he's got the skills. Great work from the top position with his tilts. Hard guy to score on. If he can find a little more aggression in his neutral offense, he's a guy that could place. He's placed in the past at 133. Did not place last year for Little Rock. Now at Iowa, how is he going to do potentially at a different weight class? That's what we're going to wait to see. And 141 going to be a tough weight class. You've got the top two returning. You've got Jesse Mendez, Brock Hardy. Those are both Big Ten wrestlers. So the level of competition for Nasir Bailey is certainly going to go up. Now 149. Believe that's going to be Jordan Williams. Now, he got in a little bit of trouble, but at that point in time, he was not admitted into Iowa, so Iowa could not comment on that. Will he be now? It sounds like much of that legal trouble is now in the rear view for Jordan. He's going to be ranked 5th going into the preseason. And if he gets into Iowa and is ultimately joins their team, it's hard to say he's not going to be the best guy for the Hawks. Now, you've got Ryder Block is still there. He was a big recruit for Iowa. But Jordan Williams is definitely a more proven guy at 149, at least at this point in time. So you would consider him in. And now there was talk, hey, what about Sammy Alvarez? He committed to Iowa, right? Well, he's not going to Iowa. He's not going anywhere. Sammy Alvarez is retired. He did not get his additional year of eligibility that he thought and hoped he would get. That ultimately did not come to fruition. So Sammy Alvarez is now done, non-factor for any NCAA team, including Iowa. So that makes it a little more clear that it will be Jordan Williams, 149 for Iowa. Now 157, one of the bigger, maybe the biggest question mark weight class for Iowa. Kobe Seabrook transferred out a couple years ago. Ja'Cory Teamer is now gone, so who's it going to be? Well, Miguel Estrada got a decent amount of mat time a year ago for Iowa. It could be him. It could be Viktor Voinovich, someone we've seen wrestle at 149. He was off the mat last year. Could he potentially come? And he's someone who I've always thought was really tough. Smooth leg attacks. Finishing's been an issue. Can he get back to that dominant top wrestling that we've seen in the past, particularly his high school days? If so, Viktor Voinovich could be a real factor at 157 for Iowa. 165, I feel certain it's Caliendo. He's going to be ranked number 2 coming into this year. Now, you've got the addition of Joey Blaze coming up, so you can't count him out, but it feels like Caliendo is a solid number 2 until proven otherwise. Then 174, Patrick Kennedy put it all together in a major way at 174 last year for the Iowa Hawkeyes, which was a really cool moment. Whether you're an Iowa fan or not, Kennedy is someone who has stayed loyal to Iowa. It looked like there were times, hey, is he going to start? You know, he was down at 165, and he got beat up by Caliendo and went up to 174, and it didn't work out. And then this year, it really worked out for him, culminating in a 4th place finish behind an elite top 3 of Dean Hamady, national champ, Keegan O'Toole, national champ, Levi Haynes, national champ, and then Kennedy was 4th. Now, Dean Hamady is gone, Keegan O'Toole is gone, and Patrick Kennedy, your preseason number 2 at 174. So potentially some huge points coming for the Iowa Hawkeye. And then 184, the long-awaited official debut for Angelo Ferrari as the starter for the Iowa Hawkeyes. One of the most hyped recruits for Iowa since Spencer Lee, and cannot wait to see what Angelo can do. And this group from Caliendo, Patrick Kennedy, Angelo Ferrari, that is a nasty group of 3 there. When you consider, you know, all of them very well could be wrestling in the NCAA finals Saturday night. Very, very possible. And then 197, bit of a question with Mo and Dean transferring in. Someone who had successful non-Division I though. So how does he make the move up to D1 wrestling, Big Ten? That's a big step up. And can he get on the level, ready to qualify and potentially contend for All-American status? That's what we're going to find out potentially this year. But Iowa does not have a lot of other options on their roster other than Dean. So you would guess he's going to be the guy. And then Ben Keeter, someone else with, I will say, with questions, not in his wrestling ability, but his health. How healthy is Ben Keeter going to be coming into this year? Does he miss a significant portion of time between football and injury recovery? That's what we do not know yet about Ben Keeter. And that's going to have huge impact on their early season duels. You know, you got the National Collegiate Duels Invitational. Iowa's going to be trying to win that. They're going to be in the mix. Always a very, very tough team to beat in dual meets. And they also have the Iowa State dual meet, which is huge. And Iowa State has a bunch of amazing transfers, making them pretty formidable for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And you'll need someone like Ben Keeter, especially considering they've got Younger Bastida wrestling at the heavyweight division. So that's my preview for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's a very, very good team. Like all the other teams, they're all looking up at Penn State. But as far as the 2, 3, 4, that is where things gets very, very interesting. And I think Iowa certainly has a team that can bring home another trophy. What do you think about this lineup? How well do you think it does? And particularly, who do you think goes where? Did I get this lineup right, or did I miss a couple? Or are there some names that you think are going to emerge as starters for the Hawks? I want to hear from you.